Okay. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. We are at the top of the hour. We still have some people that are trickling in, but we're going to go ahead and get started. Welcome to the Platform Analytics Academy. Another great session in store today. Some really useful information about getting to the future and what it's about and things of that nature. So very excited for all of you that are here. Real quick, I'll give some logistical information and we'll get directly into the content. So as usual, if you've been here, you've seen this slide. If you're new to it, just some information for you. This is for you. We try as best as we can to bring fresh ideas and better understanding and practical guidance as it relates to platform analytics. This is being recorded. It will be in the community later on this afternoon or early tomorrow morning, and it is also out on YouTube on our YouTube channels. Please utilize the Q&A. Ask as many questions as you would like. If you could put those in the Q&A rather than the chat. I do have other panelists that are on outside of the presenter that will be answering questions. If they can do that via type, they'll definitely do that. If we need to stop the presentation at a particular moment because that question is relevant and it can't be answered via one of the panelists, then we'll do that. If there are any questions that are unrelated to the particular content that we're covering today, please ask those as well, and we'll try to get to those towards the end of the session if time permits. If we don't get to those questions, then please feel free to ask those in the community and tag myself and other panelists as well, and we'll definitely try to get those answered for you. Safe harbor. So this may be something to think about today. Marta, who is our presenter, may talk more about this, but please keep this in mind as you're hearing and seeing the information that's being shared today about any forward-looking statements of that sort. My name is Thomas Davis, and I'm hosting this, and I do have Marta, and I spelled her name wrong. It is not Pinspi, it's Pinza. So forgive me, Marta, on that. She is a presenter, and she also has Olga that is on as well, and also RJ. RJ is a little under the weather. His voice is not that great, so he won't be talking that much, but he is here to definitely answer questions as a panelist, and then also the rest of the team that I'm on, Adam, Tara, and Dan are always here as well to answer questions. So a lot of people that are here to answer questions, so really good stuff. So again, today we're going to talk about moving analytics content from CoreUI over to the next experience, which involves a migration tool that has been created. So with that, Marta, if you're ready to go, you can go ahead and take over sharing and get rolling.
Thank you very much. Hi, everyone. Let me share my screen. Perfect. Let's start. So Robert Jan has done some sessions beforehand about the benefits and the value that you will get while activating and moving to platform analytics experience. I will do a few slides of recap, but then we will go into a demo. Good. So value proposition. So why we are aiming for all of you to join us in the platform analytics experience is because what we have created is a way more modern, intuitive analytics. We want to unify all the analytics capabilities that we have for the platform, for the ServiceNow data, in a way more consistent look and feel, in a more consistent creation and configuration capabilities and tools that we give. So that will bring everything under the same umbrella that in the navigation, as well as where you will find your content and the end users will find the content. And of course, we have enhanced we are keeping enhancing both the kind of collection capabilities that we have on the indicator levels, as well as all the proactive analytics. So like more machine learning insights that are automatically generated from the data that you have. So perfect. This is looks great, but of course, if you've been with ServiceNow for a long time, you have a lot of content in a lot of analytics content in your instances. Then what we want to provide to you and help you is to actually move to this platform analytics experience. And that's why we have created the Migration Center. So there will be a guided flow for you to actually test and review and all the migration of all your dashboards, reports, PA widgets, and interactive filters. You can compare, visualize how the changes will happen, how your new dashboards will look like. And of course, you can then decide to move all your content, your analytics content, into the new platform analytics experience and to the next experience version. All of those new contents will be accessible through the Analytics Center. So there's going to be a library of items that are the dashboards, the data visualizations, and the KPIs and the filters, where you are going to be able to find everything that was migrated and anything that you are going to create next. Now, on the timelines. So we are starting with Washington. With Washington, we are going to deliver the first version of the Migration Center, and you're going to be able to opt in into this activation and move process. So you are going to start to be able to test it out and also decide to move your content to Platform Analytics experience. For Xanadu, still similar for the upgrading customers. So the upgrading customers will be an opt-in choice to move and activate the Platform Analytics experience, while instead for all the net new customers, they will start fresh by default using Platform Analytics experience. And instead for Yokohama, our goal is that on upgrade, we will activate the Platform Analytics experience and we will move the analytics content to next. So there are 3 possibilities right now on activate Platform Analytics experience. The one that's like move all your content, that is like the default, that is the most suggested one, because it will not only migrate all the content that you have, dashboards, reports, PA widgets, and interactive filters, but you will also gonna see the unified navigation that will come afterwards, the activation. But if you first want to try how it looks, how the migration looks for some of the dashboards, we have the option to try selected content. And that will mean that you can decide from a list view some of the CoreUI dashboards that you would like to migrate. And you're going to still live in this 2 worlds experience, in the sense that you're going to still have all your CoreUI content, analytics content available to your users. But if you want to move a subset of them, or if you are creating new workspaces, or you are creating more tailored flows for some users, and you want to embed some of the dashboards in their workspaces, then you can always try to migrate some of them and then have them as part of the Platform Analytics experience or any other workspace that you are building or you are customizing. And the last options that actually will not be an option anymore after you upgrade to Yokohama or subsequent releases is the one to postpone. So, of course, we want you to have the choice in the next years till we get to Y and further, for you to have the time to actually do the migration and the activation yourself of Platform Analytics experience. But in case, we will do it on upgrade. So on some information, who can access the Migration Center. So the system admins, as well as what we call the group of the analytics admins. So the dashboard admins, PA admins, and report admins are able to access the Migration Center, but only system admins will be able to actually trigger the move of all the analytics content and the full activation of Platform Analytics experience. The dashboard admins can instead migrate some of the selected dashboards from the list view. There is a review phase after we start, and I will show it to you. After you click the start to move all your analytics content, we go into a review phase. And that means that actually in that phase, you're gonna see a list and where you can compare the dashboards, the results that you're gonna get, as well as you can see the logs. All that part, the review phase, is actually available to both the analytics admin and the system admins, to be really a collaborative effort between the roles, so they can put their expertise in place and actually review how the content is being migrated. So some of before and after. So right now we have a lot of analytics navigation and disjointed analytics menus. We have the reports, we have the performance analytics, and then we have the platform analytics workspace. What actually will happen is, like, after migration, we are going to have two main sections regarding analytics. In our navigation menus, one is called Analytics Center, that is more targeted for the end users. They will be able to find all the dashboards, data visualization, APIs that have been shared with them or that they have created. And then there's going to be the analytics administration. That it's more of like the place where the analytics admin will be able to take care of all the governance and the maintenance on the analytics artifacts, and there are going to be more information regarding usage and so on. And regarding—
Hey, Marta, really
Yes.
quick, can we answer, because you just kind of, Satoshi asked a question about what will the end user experience be like creating and using reports after migrating, and you kind of just touched on it. It'll be based really, and the answer is, and Marta, you can elaborate more than I can, but it'll basically be what you make it. So there will be options and availability, just like there is today, for end users to build their own dashboards. It will be easier. And we are working towards making that experience easier and easier as we move our releases. But it really is dependent, right, on how you set up your environment and how much you allow your end users to do on their own.
Yeah, actually, let me go back. So if you can see over here, they will be able to see in the Analytics Center the dashboards, the visualization and KPI. Filter and schedule reports are more tailored to some like specific roles that will be able to actually create saved and reusable filters and a schedule export of visualizations. But if your end users will go to the library dashboards, they will be able to create new dashboards as well as be able to see what they have access to, similar to the data visualization. The data visualizations are what in the past we were calling the reports and the PA widgets. Now they have a joint experience and a common name that is the data visualization. And this is actually where they're going to be configured. So if before PA widgets were configured through the PA widget forms and reports was through the report designer, then now we have a visualization designer that is a common place where we have all the same chart types available. And then based on the chart type that you choose, you're going to be able to select which is your data source. That could be table data. So as before, it was reports, metric base, could be indicators. It could be user experience analytics. We have also now supporting health log analytics. So it's like we are expanding on the data sources that we support, as well as how ServiceNow supports more and more data sources itself. Similar in the case on the dashboards, before, like, we had a dashboard builder. Right now, we also have, in the platform analytics experience, we have a dashboard editor. In this case, the configuration of the visualizations can be done directly from the dashboards. Actually, it's really more contextual. So it's like you can configure directly from the dashboards your data visualization, your filters, and all the other like text heading, rich text like that are available as part of elements that you can add to the dashboard. So as well, you can reuse content that you have previously created and you want to reuse it between multiple dashboards. So for the Analytics hub, it will move into the KPI details. The KPI details as all the functionality that we currently have on the Analytics hub, as well as we have added the information regarding the signals. So these are kind of looking at the trend of your data and finding any anomalies, any outliers, and really bringing that information to the users. So when analyzing their trend data in the KPI details. So I will move into the demo, but I'm happy to answer to any question.
Let's go ahead, Tara. You're fine. Go ahead.
No, I did mark one to answer live, but that's because I think this is a question that everyone's going to have. But I don't know if you'll actually cover it when you do the demo. So let me just put it out there, and then you can tell me, yeah, we're going to cover it later. But it's basically asking about how long will the migration take if we're talking, per capita, like how many, if we have this many dashboards, how long can we expect it to take? That sort of question.
So we had some preliminary data, and the team actually done an amazing work on reducing what was the first testing by 75% of the time already. I think for the majority of the customers, 80% of the customers, as of now, it's not set into stone, but it will be around 30 minutes.
Oh, that's, I was thinking like a week.
This is just to actually trigger the migration. It doesn't mean that it involves the review phase. That will kind of depend of how you want to also handle it inside your company and your team. Of course, there are customers and there are use cases where you have 100,000 dashboards and you have 600,000 reports. That will take more time. But for now, the actual results are really affirming of the work that the team has done. So it should actually be pretty performing.
Okay. And then do we have any impact to performance that we need to be concerned about?
No, we are making sure that we are doing background workers, technically speaking. So we are not ever going into an out of memory situation.
Okay. And then just to iterate or repeat what Adam put in the chat, which is always do this in a subprod instance first to understand how long it will take for you specifically. Obviously, we recommend that you always make that move, subprod. Adam Marks and Mike Turner, I hope those answered your questions. If not, please feel free to elaborate more in another question. Thank you, Marta.
You're welcome. I will actually give some of the FAQ later, and there is also the mention to do it in the subprod. So definitely do that first. Okay, so let's start a little bit with the demo. I'm going to use two instances because once I wanted to show you before the migration was triggered, and then once you are in review phase. So in this case, what you can see is this is going into the CoreUI dashboard overview, the one that you're probably more comfortable with right now. We have added a banner that is available to the system admins and to the analytics admins, that they will be able to see that there is something about the move to platform analytics experience. And when they click on learn what's new, they will be able to be redirected to the migration center. The Migration Center is also available from under Performance Analytics menus. You're going to see also a specific menu that is called Migration Center. What has changed on the navigation is that we don't have any more Platform Analytics workspace as part of the workspace menus, but we have actually moved everything that regards analytics and under the Analytics Center. So this is going to be everything about the new platform analytics experience will be under Analytics Center. And then once everything is migrated, you are not going to see anymore the reports section as well as the performance analytics section, but everything will move under the Analytics Center and the Analytics Administration. So while we are in the Migration Center, you can see that there are different sections. One is about an explanation of our new capabilities, and there's going to be also some frequently asked questions. This will increase, as well as we will have links to redirect you to a KB article and our documentation that will be way more information also over there. And we have the two different options. So one is move all your content, and one is the try with selected content. I will just do the try your content to show you that you will be able to go into any of the list, select a few of them, and then click on migrate dashboards, as well as you can decide to delete the migrated experience dashboard in case that you have done your test, but you don't want them anymore in your instance. So you can see we can view one of the dashboards here, or like we can go also to incident management. So these are the classic dashboards, the CoreUI dashboards that you are comfortable with. I will go back to the list and let me choose the incident management, and I will actually do the migrate dashboard. So I will get now a notification that it was migrated, and I will be able to see in the new library dashboard library page the incident management. So this has been fully migrated with all the content. So this is the new dashboards. The tab is migrated as well as the information and the permission will all be migrated. Great, so this is what you can do for try your content. Then what happens when I click on start moving, it actually will trigger the migration. So it's like you will see that it will start migrating the content. It starts from the interactive filters and goes to PA widgets and reports, and then does the dashboard. So let me go now into and you can see over here that there was already the one that I had migrated manually as a dashboard. So let me go into this instance. On this one, I had already done and already triggered the migration. So you can see all the result over here of all the interactive filters that have been migrated, all the PA widgets, reports, and then the dashboards. You can see that there are two tabs. One is fully migrated and one is compatibility mode. What does it mean for us? Fully migrated means that all the content that is in that report, PA widget, interactive filters, and dashboards as a full replacement into the new platform analytics experience. Meaning that we already have the new data visualizations, all supported, all the filters and the dashboards with the interactivity that are fully supported. What happens if we have not created a data visualizations in the platform analytics experience as we had before? For example, we have not yet created the box plot, or we have not created yet the text analytics or the word cloud widget. That content will actually be considered in compatibility mode. So you are not actually losing it. We are still going to be able to migrate that dashboard and that content, but you're going to see it in a compatibility mode inside the dashboards, meaning that technically it actually is iframed. So you are not losing your content. It's still going to be visible for you, but it's going to be iframed into the dashboard. So that's why we have this compatibility mode like tab, where you're going to see which are all the dashboards and for which reason they are actually in compatibility mode. In this case, a lot of them have kind of custom content block or a specific like sys widget that were embedded into the CoreUI dashboards, and some are because the actual reports that they have inside are not yet supported as part of the data visualization. So in this case, if I look at data classification dashboards, I can see that this report is actually in compatibility mode. That is a map type. So we have, in this version of the migration that I'm showing you, we have not yet supported in the migration script the geomaps. So what will happen, and I can show you, is that when I click on compare, I can see everything has been migrated. But then when I go to users, this is actually where the map component is. And you can see that it's still available, but it will be iframe into the dashboard. But if I then want to compare it with the CoreUI dashboards, you can see that the look and feel, it's not that different. Like this is how it was looking before on the first tab, and then this is how the map is right now in the CoreUI dashboards. So we are maintaining the reference to the reports, and we are embedding it into the new Platform Analytics experience dashboards.
Hey, Marta, I hate to interrupt you on this. Could you, because I think not everybody is familiar with the concept of the as you were just saying, the non-migrated items in the iframe. Could you just talk a little bit about what that means when you say it's in an iframe?
Yeah, absolutely. Technically, pretty much means that we have a specific component that references the reports, PA widgets, or any of the content blocks and any of the sys widget that we don't have, that we are not able to migrate one-to-one into the new technology that we are using for next experience and that we are using in Platform Analytics experience. So is pretty much taking what we had before as that was written in the previous technology stack and placing it in the new next experience dashboards.
So technically it will be the exact same widget that was in CoreUI. Just
Correct.
It's almost kind of like a shortcut view to that that visual, to that old
and
CoreUI
that also
version
means
of it.
Yeah, and that also means that if you're doing any change on that report, for example, in this case, if you will do any change on the map, on the geomap, it will apply also, the change will apply also in the next experience dashboard because the reference is the same.
Good point. Thank you.
Hey, Dan, do you want to go ahead and get that other question that you marked as well?
Sure, I didn't know if this would be a good point for that or not. I just know that the iframe was just right
unless
there.
she,
Yeah,
once you ask
I
it,
think
unless
this
she
is good.
says I got a section for that, but if not, we could ask it now.
Yeah, are you talking?
I think we can talk about it now.
Yeah, okay. And anyone else, certainly feel free to add in your own thoughts on this as well. The question is a really good question from Mike about the all the out of the box created dashboards and content that all of our other teams like ITSM, CSM, when they build their own versions of dashboards and they provide them to you, how is that migrating, and how is that, what's kind of the process for that? Generally, all of the business units, we call them, all the workflow teams, all those application teams, are in the progress right now of developing their next experience versions of their content packs. They may or they may not, in all cases, though, be doing a direct migration. And those migrations may not, and the new versions of those content packs may not, many of them will not be available until after Washington. So let's say that I've got an HR content pack that I have some using dashboards on every day in CoreUI. and the new version, the new version that the app team created is not yet out there. What will happen during your migration is it will migrate your existing version of the core UI out of the box dashboard. So we'll go ahead and migrate that. Unless you choose not to migrate it, but otherwise it will just migrate the old content into the new experience. And then as the app teams develop their own dashboards, they'll be providing their own content. And we'll have documentation and communication on when it's a replacement to an old version of a dashboard or if it is a net new content. So, if anyone else has any thoughts on that, or all right, and Mike, you can let us know in the Q&A if that addresses your question. Thanks.
Great. Yeah, so this is Melit. The main functionalities that we have are the ability to view the logs if there is anything that it's not supported, and as well as to compare the dashboards, and now they are migrated. I think it's the most important ones to really really review are the ones that are in compatibility mode and have content blocks or other, in the sense that we are not able to know what is inside the content blocks while we are doing the migration. So especially if there is any custom filter, any custom chart, then there is really at that point a necessity to making sure that nothing is kind of affected and everything is still working fine. What might be necessary maybe after you have done the reviews is that you might need to rebuild some of these dashboards using the technical builder. So it's like using the technical editor that we have. That means that when you create a new next experience dashboards, you can actually decide if you have a UI builder admin role or if you have a system admin role to actually create technical dashboards. That means that is using all the UI builder capabilities, way more can be way more technical, can be scripted, included. You can also add your own components, and way more components are supported as part of the UI builder. So that might be also a scenarios that you're gonna get into. What happens is if that I will now activate the next experience analytics. In this process is now we are storing all the information about the migration into what we call bridging tables. And now what it's doing is actually making sure that we are putting all the new information regarding the next experience dashboards, the new data visualization filters as active. So they are going to be available for all the users, and we are actually committing and activating Platform Analytics experience while we are deactivating everything that was into the core UI. So if you're not supposed, everything that has been migrated, the users will not see them anymore as a core UI dashboard or a core UI report. So now we are in our new dashboard library with everything that has been migrated. What could happen is that you open one of the new migrated dashboards and there is something that doesn't work. So what you can do is actually that you can roll back one specific dashboard. And rolling back in this case means that you're going to be able to still have the core UI version active, but it will be iframe kind of it will be a frame in the header of the next experience dashboards. And I can show you right now how it works. So let's take assessment overview. So I will go to the par dashboard.list. And this is where, and did not spell it right. This is where all the new next experience dashboards are stored. I will find the assessment overview, and I can check this one, and I can actually say rollback. So before we were able to see the migrated version of these dashboards. Now, if I go back to the Analytics Center, perfect, over here, then I can still see assessment overview as an option, but then here it is. This part is actually after the rollback is actually iframed. So it's the CoreUI dashboards that is back to active. In case you find any problem, especially maybe with the content blocks or the other type of sys widgets that they were supported before in the CoreUI dashboards. And maybe while you are rebuilding those dashboards using the next experience capabilities, you can have this option to have some of them in a rollback state. And so if then anybody that has edit rights to this dashboard will be still able to edit it, but we are actually going to redirect you to the previous CoreUI dashboard editing experience. So the one that you currently are used to.
Hey, Marta, real quick, and these two questions kind of go together, but when items are migrated, will we need to share a new link to the dashboards? They're guessing yes, and then along the same lines, if someone has created favorites to dashboards inside the instance, will they need to redo those with once they've migrated?
Great question. And luckily, I can say no. You don't need to create any new link. We are going to do an automatic redirection to the new migrated version.
Nice, awesome.
And this will apply for everything that is migrated. That is a dashboards, that is a report. If it's a PA widget, there are always for some specific user roles that are system admins and analytics admin. We don't do the automatic redirection because they might still want to configure some of the older content or just verify some of the CoreUI content. And in that case, we are going to allow to open the version in CoreUI, but we'll always display a message that this content has actually been migrated, and we will provide the link to the migrated version.
Okay, good. Dan, you had something?
No, that was I just wanted to make sure. So if I'm just a user and I have a favorite to a dashboard that somebody else created 6 months ago, that my favorite will still go to the new version of the dashboard. Is what you're saying?
Correct.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Thank you.
And tabs on a dashboard are transferred as well, right? I think we saw that earlier.
Yes, correct. Yeah, also the tabs will be transferred. I just wanted to show you on the data visualizations. I think it was users by country. This was the map. So in this case, these users by country, as I mentioned before, since it's a map, we are not yet able to migrate it into a data visualization. So whenever I click on users by country, it actually opens the report designer. So as a user, you are still going to be able to see them from the same list. That was really important for us to have still a common place, well, from where they will be available. but you're gonna be redirected to the report designer to actually fully view them. And in case if you have edit rights, to still configure them.
Quick, so if user that's creator of any sort of and a dash, does that all work still this one in these? And this is for the question, and I do not want to mess that name up, but and Robert Jean had actually talked about this a little bit in the 2 sessions that I put into the chat, but sharing is a little bit different now. So like when you share a dashboard, it shares everything underlying. So the idea of not having to, you don't have to share a report anymore. If a report is on a dashboard, once you share the dashboard, all of those features are there with that. But along with that other question, the same question is, what does just a standard user, when they go to all in the filter navigator, what are they looking for? How's that different for them?
So it is correct. Everything that is already on a dashboard, it will be automatically be shared to any of the to the users that are able to access the dashboards. So you don't need to share reports specifically anymore, or data visualization specifically anymore if they are on a dashboard. Anybody in that has access to your instance is also able to see the analytics center. Of course, on dashboards and data visualization and KPI levels, there are still permissions. So you can always decide on dashboard and data visualization to share that dashboard and that visualization in view mode, like with viewer rights or with editing rights. So that's still in place. We are not having any minimum role required to access the analytics center content. Is just the content that is going to be available inside the analytics center, that is the dashboards, the data visualization, the KPIs, that is actually going to be filtered out based on the permission that they have on top of.
And going along with that, how does that relate to what is being seen in Service Portal and things of that nature?
I'm not sure if it's breaking only for me. I'm not sure.
No, I'm hearing that too. Can you try that again, Thomas?
You can't hear me?
You were kind of cutting in and out.
Oh, I'm sorry. Am I back now? Am I good?
Yes.
So far.
Okay. So another question came in, which is kind of along the same lines, is how for users accessing dashboards and reports via Service Portal?
Yeah. So Service Portal right now, until we release Washington, and as we don't hear more news, supports only the reports and PA widgets. That's also the reason why we are actually not removing the reports and PA widgets capability from the platform itself after you have activated the platform analytics experience. So you're still going to be able to create, if you are a report admin or like a PA admin, to create PA widgets and reports that you can use them into the Service Portal. So there is no impact, all the reports and PA widgets that are in the Service Portal will still apply, will still work. There's no impact on them, and you can always create more or modify the existing ones that you have to still use them on the Service Portal.
Okay, great. Thank you.
I'm going to ask another one here too, because I think it's going to be relevant to a lot of different organizations, as opposed to just typing it in. So so questions from Lena. In our Utah instance, we still have home pages, unfortunately. So that was her note, that were not deleted or converted to dashboards. How will they be affected in W?
So they are not part. The home pages
they're not migrated.
The home pages are not part of this migration tool and this migration center. So what I will definitely suggest is, if you have home pages that are really valuable, make sure that you first migrate them to the CoreUI dashboards, and then you trigger the new move and the activation of the platform analytics experience.
And I think the question is, what happens if they don't? If they just leave the homepage as is? When platform analytics experience is turned on, does that change access to the old homepages in W?
It doesn't change access. If you have direct links to those homepages, you are still going to be able to see them. The default kind of landing page most probably will not be anymore the homepages.
Yeah, you won't see like a homepages menu item, and that you would need to have
Exactly.
you'd have to like create a favorite to that homepage.
Yeah.
Get the main messages, get people off of homepages. That's really, really important. It has been for several releases, but it's becoming even more important, and it'll become more and more of a headache for reporting administrators going forward.
Great.
Okay, there's no more questions currently, Marta, so if you have more.
I don't have more. I just have some FAQ that, as we were mentioning before, is like make sure to run and test the migration on a non-production instance, evaluate the results, do all the testing that you want to perform, and then actually do again the migration into your production instance. What also I mentioned before is like what happens to your CoreUI dashboards and content. They are going to be set to inactive, but we are not deleting any of the CoreUI analytics content, that is dashboards, reports, PA widgets, or interactive filters. We are not deleting any of that content from your tables. So you can do it subsequently, but right now we are not forcing any delete. And as I showed you, the reports that were not be able to fully migrate are still available to the users, because we know that a lot of users do not only access reports through the dashboards, but also through the report list. So we are giving a similar experience, and that you are going to be able to access them from the library data visualization list. And as mentioned on the service portal, like there is no impact on the service portal. We are still continuous to support the reports and PA widgets, and then you can still be able to create the content necessary to be reused in the portals.
And that probably is the case as well for mobile. Probably another reason why they're left around to see those in mobile as well, or is there a difference there?
That's a great question. Mobile is joining us on the effort on actually migrating. So we have the content that you are migrating with mobile from Washington onwards. You're actually gonna also be able to use the new data visualizations as part of the mobile experience. So if you want to migrate to platform analytics experience and you want to start and use only data visualizations and the visualization designer as your tool to create all your charts, then also mobile will be able also to uptake and use those data visualization charts that you have created.
Okay, great. Dan, you had one?
Yeah, just as the one question is about is platform analytics experience mandatory with a specific release? And I think when we talked about that, just kind of maybe reiterate what we said a little bit earlier with that. It's the Y or Yokohama release that everything will be moved into the platform analytics experience if it hasn't already migrated. And anyone else correct me if there's any, if you want to add any nuance to that.
I assume that as well.
So Y.
It's correct. It's the Y one. And of course, any release after Y will have the same.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that I answered, I think 2 separate questions on was related to that is, yes, it will be forced in Y. Don't wait. Like use this time now to ease yourself into it, become familiar with things. We're working on collateral for you to make the transition easier. It's a lot of really cool stuff. It feels all new. It's all the same concept. It's just different ways of doing things. But don't wait. Please. It's going to be harder for you if you do.
Yeah, and we have more questions that are rolling in. I believe the one that just came in from Mike about the other ServiceNow product teams will their own existing dashboards of PA content packs. We answered that earlier, and the answer to that is they're working on it currently. All of them may not be available by Washington, but they are definitely working on any of that stuff that is out of the box, upgrading that to over to the next experience, platform analytics experience. So that is happening. It just won't be all of them by Washington itself. Oh, he said ignored. So I didn't see that. I was looking at that question, but didn't look below it. So sorry about that, Mike. Let's see what else we have. So there is a question here about, as a partner, we have prepackaged classic UI reporting dashboard content that is used as advanced content packs for customers. Our content is part of scoped app, but we tend to deploy it to our customers through a group of update sets due to its size. Is there any opportunity to create equivalent update sets as part of converting our collateral? As much as that is a question, and I don't know if you want to answer that or not, but I think even talking about update sets and how those will continue to work, if any of that information changes. So that's a really holistic question, Marta. So I don't know if you can dive into all of that.
We have talked before with Mike. Right now, we are on the process of improving our unload and moving between environments of the dashboards works. Right now, if you go in anything that is Washington and before from Tokyo, we have the permissions tables that are not currently being integrated with the update set. So we cannot move them using the update set. We are trying to improve that part. The team is working on a way to unload all the dashboards and move them across environment without any struggles and challenge anymore. So like we are working on it. We definitely want to make that move and transition also smoother for all of you.
Okay, thanks. All right, so Tara's answering one. Olga is answering one. Let me see if we can get this one. So for customers that have large amounts of content, can we choose to convert in phases or allow different parts of larger organizations to take responsibility for the migration of their own content? I saw for the migration itself, you need to be a sysadmin, which could be problematic for some organizations, especially larger ones that have significant volume of content. So I think the overall question is, one, can you do things in phases? And I think that what you showed earlier about rather than doing all of it, you want to select specific things. So you could do it in phases there. But is there outside of system admin, are there any other ways of letting other people actually do that process?
So if you want to try with the try selected content, and that actually it's only applicable to dashboards, you are not able to move the reports and the PA widgets in that way. It's actually anybody that has a dashboard admin role will be able to do it. You will still need at the end, maybe once you have like a majority of the team already done their migration and assess their dashboards to actually trigger the full bulk migration, because then it will also like set up to inactive anything that it's not like it's in the CoreUI, but also do the update changes on the menus and the navigation. So that's why we are still requesting for the teams to do the bulk, like the whole move of all your content, even if they have done a portion in a section using the try selected content.
Okay, thanks. Another one came in, and I know that you hit this earlier, but maybe you can just touch on it again. So is the sequence enable Next Experience UI and then these migrations, meaning you have to be on Next Experience UI before being able to do all of this?
So technically, no. The suggestion is to move to Next Experience UI. It will just bring way more like an overarching like look and feel that will be way better for your end users and for your own instance. So the suggestion is to enable first Next Experience UI and then to do the migration.
Okay, great.
Yeah,
So we have one question in there that is, oh, go ahead, Dan, you're gonna say something?
No, I just wanted to kind of follow up on there. There's the question about kind of the cleanup question about, about the, just or to see what's being used out there right now. And I think, and Thomas mentioned that we do have the upcoming Academy session that will be talking about what you can do today for that. But I don't know, Marta, did you want to speak at all to what is that? Because obviously big safe harbor we talked about.
Yeah, absolutely.
But what is coming just at least in generic sense?
Yeah, that's definitely one of the phase 2 of our migration center, and like the next steps or where we want to focus is really to help to understand which is the content that is being used, which is not, and what maybe you don't want to like move and migrate because it's not used anymore, because maybe is the person that had created it is not in the company anymore, and that content is not shared with anybody else. So we really want to provide like information in the migration center of like what is the content that is actually used and what maybe it could like just be left behind and not moved at all.
Yeah, and like Dan said, we are going to have, and I'll show it here in a second, in a couple of weeks, we are going to have a session that's going to talk about some housekeeping solutions and things like that, just to kind of think about in general, and then also think about prior to doing the migration itself. So really good stuff. So let me go ahead. We're about 3 minutes out, so I'm going to take sharing back from you. Marta, as usual, great content, very appreciative of you putting that together and showing, what the future that is here is about, and, getting to that new look or that enhanced look, the really great look is exciting. So I really appreciate you spending some time with us today and showing that. And then, of course, everybody, all the panelists that was on, there was a lot of great questions. And for any of you that saw the questions come through, but maybe didn't necessarily see the answer because it was typed, although you can, I'm going to take all of these questions and I'm going to put it into the community blog post that this event is actually at, because I think it's a great idea, because lots of great questions that you maybe saw the answer to today, but maybe may forget in a couple of weeks, a month or so, or whenever you decide to do it. And this would be a good reference for you to come back and see those questions. So once again, Marta and the panelists, thank you very much. So let me just, and there's a couple of answers that are being answered, or questions being answered. So, and Marta, you got a compliment that came in from Stephen. He is great. He compliments all of you inbound guys and girls all the time. So if Adam is the visualization god, she's the goddess. Thank you, Marta. Appreciate that's pretty big, Marta. So good for you there. So real quick, I'll kind of talk about a couple things so we can get you out of here on time. Again, all this information will be in the community along with other great information that's out there in the community. So scan this if you can with your phone, check it out. If you're familiar with the community, don't get stuck in one particular area. Get outside of your comfort and look at some other stuff. There's some really great content that's out there. Again, this will be out in the community, hopefully later on this evening, depends on when I get the recording, or to be out there early tomorrow morning, as well as all of the previous things that we have done and some of the things that are coming in the future. So check that out. We have the pro tips. Again, if you're new, if you're still trying to figure out what platform analytics could do for your company, if you're just checking out this session for the first time, check out these pro tips done by Tara, Dan, and myself. Just fireside chats talking about platform analytics. Check those out. Of course, Now Learning always has great content, and I can expect that there may be in the future some Now Learning that's covering information like this. So we'll look for that in the future. And again, in 2 weeks, we're going to talk about Platform Analytics housekeeping solutions. So come by for that as well. And with that, thank you. And we'll see everybody in 2 weeks. Thank you.